What do Robert Downey Jr., Tupac, and violent criminals have in common? Real jail time for serious crimes. Today, I'll show you insanely popular people who have been through prison, from petty thieves and hooligans to real rapists and racists. And in the end, you'll find out why Danny Trejo, an actor who doesn't even need to play bad guys, spent 11 years behind bars. And let's start with a man who has been a fixture on cinema screens and internet memes for a couple of decades. In 1999, Robert Downey Jr., who later became known as Iron Man, found himself in prison for violating probation, charged with drug possession and use of a firearm. The guy overdosed and fired shots in a drug-induced haze in a parking lot. He was sentenced to 3 years in a specialized California facility for drug treatment, but he only spent a year there. Then the actor spent another 6 months in a Los Angeles prison. Despite the defense of well-known lawyer Robert Shapiro, Downey couldn't avoid jail time. He shared a cell with 3 other inmates and, according to rumors, could have faced violence and harassment. Although these claims were never confirmed by the actor or his close ones. These were just rumors from other inmates, who perhaps were just trying to get attention. But let's be honest, even if Iron Man encountered prison rape, that's the last thing you'd want to tell a successful actor and the darling of several generations. Plus, during his incarceration, Downey gave interviews to well-known publications, hung out with Hollywood friends, including Sean Penn, and no one noticed anything unusual. I hope Robert proved to be iron in every way. Michelle Rodriguez, known for her role in Fast and Furious, shares a love for speed and disregard for traffic rules in real life. Just like her character in the legendary movie, she's been fined multiple times for speeding and driving under the influence. In 2004, the actress was involved in a serious traffic incident, hitting a motorcyclist and fleeing the scene. Police who stopped her car found alcohol in her blood and suspended driver's license in her purse. The outcome was logical. The girl got 3 years probation. You think it helped? No, it didn't have a restraining effect on Rodriguez. She continued to break the rules, getting caught driving under the influence again. Eventually, after one of these trips, she was sentenced to 60 days in jail, and only after that did she start to reconsider her actions, at least for now. Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, had a tough childhood, marked by family tragedies and a struggle for survival on the streets. His mother, who started selling crack at a young age, led a turbulent life and died under mysterious circumstances when Curtis was just 8 years old. The responsibility for his upbringing fell on his grandmother, who also had to take care of 8 grandchildren. In such an environment, Curtis had to find his own way, which led him to the streets, where he started selling drugs at the age of 12 and acquired his first gun by 15. A true gangster. Curtis's life path was on the brink of collapse in 1994, when at the age of 19, he was arrested for involvement in drug trafficking. This period was a serious test for the young man, since he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. However, after spending only 6 months behind bars, Jackson managed to obtain early release on parole, which became a turning point for him. Realizing that continuing his old way of life would only lead to more trouble, Curtis decided to radically change his life. With newfound determination, Jackson turned to music, seeing it not only as a way out of street life, but also as an opportunity to express his experiences and stories throughout creativity. This choice ultimately led him to worldwide fame and success, making 50 Cent a symbol not only of musician talent, but also of unwavering will to overcome the toughest life challenges. As I tell this, I'm getting goosebumps. That's what it means to never give up and strive for the best version of yourself. Mark Wahlberg, now known for his acting achievements and boundless charisma, has faced serious criminal problems in the past. In his youth, at the age of 16 in 1988, he was involved in several incidents involving racially motivated assaults in Boston, Massachusetts. In one such incident, in the Dorchester area, Wahlberg and his friends attacked 3 Vietnamese men, leading to one of the victims being hospitalized. The next day, another attack occurred, during which Wahlberg bet Hoa Truong unconscious. These actions led to Wahlberg's arrest and charges of attempted murder. However, ultimately he admitted his guilt to lesser crimes, assault and battery. It all boiled down to Wahlberg being sentenced to 2 years imprisonment in the Suffolk County Corrections on Deer Island. But he actually only served 45 days before his lawyers managed to get him out. This period was a tough lesson in Wahlberg's life, after which he was able to completely change his life and build a successful career in the film industry, and even renounce his racist views. Wesley Snipes, known for his roles as very brutal heroes like Blade and Simon Phoenix in Destroyer, ran afoul of the authorities in 2008 for failing to pay taxes from 1999 to 2001. Any state doesn't like to be fooled by money. The court found the actor guilty of willful tax evasion and gave him a 3-year prison sentence and a $5 million fine. Snipes received a year in prison for each of the 3 offenses. He paid the fine while serving his sentence, but his total tax debt amounted to $41 million. As confirmed by prosecutors. During the trial, Snipes expressed distrust of the IRS, calling it a fraudulent organization. He cited the complexities of tax law, arguing that foreign income should be taxed in the country where it is received. The actor also claimed to be a non-resident immigrant, although he was born in the US. After exhausting all avenues of appeal, Snipes began serving his sentence in December 2010 in a federal correctional facility and was released in April 2013 after spending his entire sentence in prison without parole for his long tongue. This criminal record explains where the actor disappeared to at the peak of his career. But it's one thing to be taxed and another to be raped like the next generational favorite. In the mid-90s, rapper Tupac Shakur, then at the height of his popularity, found himself at the center of a scandal that severely damaged his music career. In 1995, he was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for first-degree rape. Admittedly, he only spent 9 months in prison. The victim, Ayanna Jackson, formerly a fan of the rapper, considers such a punishment too lenient, especially considering Tupac's denial of guilt to the end. What was it like? Ayanna and Tupac met in a nightclub in New York in 1993. Their acquaintance quickly developed into mutual attraction, and they soon found themselves in the rapper's hotel room. According to Jackson, their first meeting ended in consensual sex, and several more encounters followed. Then what was the complaint? Things changed during one of the subsequent meetings organized by Tupac's manager. His friends showed up at the hotel room where Jackson was giving the rapper a massage. Tupac expressed his desire to share her with his friends, which turned into a collective rape, during which Shakur held Ayanna, not responding to her refusals and requests to stop. The situation was exacerbated by derogatory comments directed at Jackson. After the incident, Ayanna went to court and Tupac was convicted. Despite the fact that Shakur did not admit his guilt, the judge handed down a guilty verdict. This event forever changed the perception of the rapper among many of his fans. Jackson avoided media attention for years and did not even comment on Tupac's death. It wasn't until decades later, in the era of the Me Too and Time's Up movements, that she found the strength to share her story, recounting the tragic events of that night. Terrifying, right? But onward we go. At the age of 16, Chris Brown reached incredible heights in the music industry, becoming one of the top pop singers of the 2000s. His talent has earned him numerous hits that are still popular today, as well as several prestigious awards, including a Grammy and 4 Billboard Music Awards. Despite his success and talent, there were events in Brown's personal life that forever marred his career. One of the most high-profile incidents involved Rihanna, who was his girlfriend at the time. In 2009, on the day of the Grammy Awards, a conflict broke out between them, which led to physical abuse by Brown and the subsequent hospitalization of Rihanna. The incident caused widespread public outcry, resulting in Brown's expulsion from the Grammy Awards and the cancellation of ad campaigns and television shows featuring him. About a month after the incident, Brown was indicted on several counts related to the assault. At trial, he pleaded guilty and agreed to terms of a plea deal that included performing community service, 5 years probation, and undergoing domestic violence counseling. These events took a heavy toll on Brown's career and reputation in the public eye. So of course I just have to tell you about the real bad boy, Mike Tyson. He's a true boxing legend, although he faced a lot of adversity, including legal problems that made him one of the most controversial figures of the 1990s. One of the most serious charges he faced was a sexual assault case that caused Tyson to lose 4 years of his peak career. In July 1991, as a 25-year-old at the time, Tyson was arrested on charges of assaulting 18-year-old Desiree Washington, a beauty pageant contestant at an Indianapolis hotel. Having met Washington during Miss America, the incident occurred in his hotel room. Shortly after they met, testimony from Tyson's chauffeur and medical personnel indicated that Washington survived the sexual assault, although Tyson insisted that it was consensual. In February 1992, after a trial, Tyson was found guilty and sentenced to 6 years in prison, but was released less than 3 years later, in March 1995. This event left an indelible mark on his career and personal life. Despite apologizing for some of his actions, Tyson, now 57, still maintains that their encounter was consensual. This episode in his life continues to generate discussions and differing opinions among the public and boxing fans. But why are we just talking about men? Let's lighten up this tough company. Lindsay Lohan started her career at a very early age, signing with modeling agency Ford Models at the age of 3. By the age of 18, she had established herself not only as a model, but also as an actress, appearing in 6 movies and more than 60 commercials. Despite her talent and popularity, her early career had a downside. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Lohan claimed that she had never used drugs and saw no need for it. However, just 3 years later, she found herself in serious trouble. Police officers caught her driving under heavy drug intoxication. In July 2010, she was sentenced to 3 months in jail for violating her probation, but due to overcrowding, she only spent 14 days in jail. Despite this, Lohan could not cope with her addiction, and soon after her release, she violated her probation again, which led to a new arrest. Against the girl even brought charges for stealing a necklace, although she did not particularly need the money. Lohan actively worked to overcome her addiction, but problems with the law continued to haunt her in the following years, including allegations of fraudulent cryptocurrency schemes in 2023. Lindsay Lohan's story serves as a reminder of how difficult it can be to live under constant public scrutiny, and how important it is to have support and help for addictions. Let's hope that the girl will still get out of this series of troubles. Well, Danny Trejo, known for his brutal movie roles, had a very difficult life path before becoming an in-demand actor. His first experience with drugs happened at a very early age, when he was only 8 years old. Do you know who gave him a taste of dope? His own uncle. The situation escalated when Trejo, already a tough teenager, gave his relative an ultimatum: either keep supplying drugs or face serious consequences. That's normal, right? Trejo grew up in Los Angeles, where he learned street fighting and dreamed of becoming a professional boxer. However, his plans for a boxing career were ruined due to criminal activity. Danny was charged for drug possession and armed robbery. According to various sources, he spent 10 to 11 years in prison. Despite the hardships, Trejo didn't waste any time in prison. He received a full high school education and excelled in boxing, becoming a welterweight and lightweight champion. After his release, he decided to radically change his life and joined a rehabilitation program for former drug addicts, completely abandoning drug use. Trejo's story is an inspiring example of how you can change your life and achieve success despite the difficult circumstances of your past. Well, he can now be an asshole in the movies without the risk of going to jail. Sometimes stars have a dark past. The main thing is to get on the path of truth in time, or just slow down if fame and money make your head spin. Thanks for watching.